If you, the people, and we, the people, watch the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria violated, and the best we can do is respectfully to hold lectures, writing to government, all right, we'll receive your letters. Read your letters. Did you have more letters? Write and bring. They'll read your letters.
It is a welcome development that the duo of Obi and Datti Baba Ahmed are talking tough. Talking tough is a very natural way of expressing disappointment, and from someone who lost something, or more precisely, someone whose electoral mandate was stolen. MKO Abiola did the same thing to a military government after waiting for some weeks for the reversal of his annulled victory. If MKO Abiola could talk tough to a military dictator like Abacha, why wouldn't Obi and Datti Baba Ahmed talk tough to fellow civilians and their associates who rigged themselves to power? The fact that they are in court challenging the results and INEC declaration doesn't mean that they will keep silent.
Silence is complicity.
Yes, like President Biden said, keeping silent means complicity. The United States shouldn't keep silent on happenings in Nigeria. If they do that, it means they are complicit. They encourage us to condone what they can't condone in the United States. They like to preach to us about democracy and the importance of preserving democracy. The preservation of democracy is not the sole responsibility of the opposition. The party in power must be held accountable for the flagrant abuse of power and lawlessness that is currently shaking the roots of our democracy. Granted that the United States have taken the first step by imposing visa restrictions on many Nigerians who undermined democracy during the elections, but that's not enough. They need to go after their ill-gotten wealth. They need to go after their families. Many politicians in the visa ban list have their families abroad, living large on Nigerian people's money. Why would the United States keep silent when politicians launder money to their country and use them to buy properties? If they continue keeping silent, that means they are encouraging them. And the United States cannot be sanctioning those that rigged the election in Nigeria with their left hand and embracing them with their right hand. Every country should be protecting their interests. Yes, that's what the United States is doing. There's nothing wrong with it. But they shouldn't be pretentious about it. They cannot, on one hand, preach to us about how important the preservation of democracy is, and on the other hand, embrace desperate politicians who undermine democracy in Nigeria. That is simply deceptive. There's no peace without justice. The peace of the graveyard that is seen in Nigeria today is because Nigerians have put their hope on the judiciary to do the right thing, so that democracy will truly be preserved. In any case, that they do not do the right thing and reverse the heist that was committed on the Nigerian people, that will spell the end of democracy in Nigeria. It might also lead to massive protests and anarchy. Of course, everyone knows the implication. Hardship and suffering will increase, leading to massive increase in poverty. It will also lead to many professionals leaving the country for greener pastures in Western countries. Unless this is the ultimate aim of the United States, if not, one wonders why they have been busy cutting election riggers in Nigeria. The United States should also make the list of people facing visa restrictions public. That alone will put a check on the attitude of those in power. Another thing the United States should do to be seen as working for the preservation of democracy in Nigeria is to use their influence and power to expose and repatriate monies and properties linked to Nigerian politicians. A lot of career politicians in Nigeria have never worked outside government, but they are stupendously rich. They have laundered their questionable funds abroad and invested in properties, like recently revealed by Bloomberg, that about 20 homes were bought by Tinubu and his associates in the United Kingdom when he was governor of Lagos State. He even bought a mansion that Nigerian government under Buhari was seeking to seize from the associate of Diezani, the former petroleum minister. Some are giving excuses that he bought it from a bank, not from the guy in question. Why must it be a mansion that Nigeria is seeking to recover? And Buhari even visited him in the same mansion. He seems not to have problem with corruption when it involves people around him. These guys do not believe in Nigeria. Why will they be laundering money abroad to buy properties? What happened to investing the money in Nigeria they claim to love? Now, let's hear Yusuf Datti Baba Ahmed, the vice presidential candidate of the Labour Party, who spoke in London with the likes of Dele Farotimi, Charlie Boy, David Hundeyin, and others. He spoke in a pro-democracy event they organized, Nigeria on Trial. Does democracy matter? Thanks, Bolanle, for posting the clips. Bolanle is seen here with Charlie Boy. Datti Baba Ahmed used the opportunity to reiterate that Nigerians shouldn't stand by and allow politicians to do irreparable damage to our democracy. Keeping silent means complicity. Let's take a listen.
And without going into so much comparison, because I'm speaking in general terms, I'm not speaking about the 2023 elections now. So no minister will fly to New York and make any allegations against me. If you recall that 80s into the late 90s, there was this genuine globalization of democracy around the world. But then there is a certain part of the world with very old, rich culture and history, namely the Middle East. I'm speaking about the constitution that has provided how the judiciary shall exist. The armed forces shall exist. The Nigerian police shall exist. The National Assembly shall exist. I'm speaking about the Nigerian constitution, which says what must happen for there to be a validly elected president. Nigerians, our destiny is ours. You can't come here and scare the UK that refugees will come. Yes, they come from everywhere. A few more from Nigeria doesn't make a difference. That's not how to motivate them. Go and practice your democracy, and we'll meet you somewhere and make it work. Nigerians, go and make your democracy to work. Thank you.
Yes, the opposition should be talking tough, even in the face of threats of arrests and prosecution. No one can take away the right of free speech from anyone. It wasn't possible during the military dictatorship. It isn't possible now. Also, it seems that the rumor is true after all that Buhari is actually in the United Kingdom lobbying for the acceptance of Tinubu and the electoral heist that they committed on February 25th, 2023. So they are actually matching them pound for pound. As can be seen here, the members of Diaspora Action for Democracy handing over election petition letter to the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. The Tories have more problems to worry about because of the massive losses they had in recent local elections. The United Kingdom is actually a major enabler of the problem we have, but let's save that for another video.
You have heard them say we don't have structures. That is the structure we're trying to destroy. Structure of criminality.
Peter Obi is also talking tough. When people heard what Peter Obi said at the book launch in Oka, he said that he is sure that he must be the president of Nigeria. If not today, it must be tomorrow. A lot of people had every reason to doubt this kind of statement being credited to Peter Obi by Nigerian newspapers because Peter Obi is a meticulous, calculated person. Most of the words that come out of his mouth are filled with wisdom. Making this kind of statement with 100% certainty, many people will be asking, what is giving him the confidence? Look at it this way. It's an educated guess anyway. No one can get into a man's mind to know exactly what he's thinking. But Peter Obi using the word must in a sentence means he's being assertive with utmost certainty. He's sure that he won the election having seen all the figures. He knows that the majority of Nigerians voted for him and that he won the election. Never mind the fact that INEC announced Tinubu. So he's making a positive assertion that he is expecting the court to do the right thing and declare him winner. This is where the word must is coming from. The winner of the presidential election must become the president. And his second statement, if not today, it must be tomorrow. This means that the fact that INEC didn't declare him winner today doesn't mean the tribunal won't declare him winner tomorrow. Peter Obi has gone philosophical. He's a philosopher anyway, before being a trader, like he likes to call himself. The fact that Nigerians aren't protesting the outcome of the presidential election doesn't mean that they've accepted the results as reality. They are just waiting for the tribunal to return their mandate to them, because it will be nearly impossible for them to do otherwise or pass judgment based on technicality. A lot of judicial precedents will be their guide when they deliver judgment, and they should keep their promise of looking at every matter based on its merit.